everybody! Welcome back to Yoga with Helen for the Down Syndrome Association. I hope everybody is really well this week and feeling ready for some more yoga. Okay, let's check in with our safety as we always do. So check you've moved furniture out of the way, that there's no chairs or tables or anything that you could bump into. Check you're wearing comfortable clothes, and remember, bare feet is better so we don't slip. You might like to have a glass of water. And remember, you know your body better than me, so if anything feels sore or doesn't feel right, just stop, pause the video, take a break, and then join me when you feel ready. Remember, there may be some items that you find useful for our yoga class, like a blanket, a pillow, or a chair. And if you find the chair really useful, like for balance or just helping you up and down, just keep it with you. You can set it on your mat so it's always there, close at hand. If you find sitting down, you don't have to sit cross-legged. You can sit whatever way feels comfortable for you. You could sit with your back against a wall. That's good, just whatever way is comfortable. You might sit on the chair. You could also sit on your pillow, and that sometimes just makes it a little bit easier to sit cross-legged. But go with whatever is comfortable for you. So remember last week we did a little yoga poem? I'd like to start with that poem again. Okay. It goes, I am calm, I am peace, I am light, I am love. And I would love us this week to think about the first part of the poem, I am calm. And let's think about that during our whole session. Let's see how calmly we can do our yoga and how much calmness we can bring to our breath. So we're going to think about that. I am calm. Good. So let's start with our breath, as always. So you can put your hand on your chest and just let's take a breath in together. And as you breathe out, let your chest fall and breathe in. And as you breathe in, you might feel your chest get a little bit bigger under your hand, and breathe out. And keep breathing whatever rhythm suits you better. Don't worry about breathing with me. Breathe naturally for yourself. Breathe in and out. And last week we had the image that every time we breathe in, imagine we get a little bit taller. And as we breathe out, we feel really sturdy on the mat. Good. It's always really important to start with our breathing to get us nice and focused. And remember, think of I am calm. Good. Okay, let's start with some of our warming stretches. Let's take our arms to the side and breathe in as we lift them up. Join the hands at the top and breathe out. Let's do that again. Breathe in and breathe out. This time follow our hands, look at our hands, look up and look down. Let's do that one more time. Breathe up, look up to the hands and breathe out, look down as they come all the way towards our feet. Good. Let's take our wrists and we're going to circle our hands one direction and the other way. Now press the palms of your hands towards me, and now fingertips towards the floor, fingertips up to the ceiling and down. One more time, up and down. Good. Let's take the fingers to the shoulders and out. In and out. Good. Let's lift the shoulders up. So we're going to match this with the breath. Breathe in, lift up. Breathe out, drop them. Let's do that again. Breathe in, lift them up. Breathe out, drop them. Good. Let's take a side stretch. So lift your right arm, or mirror my arm. Lift it up, up, up and over the head towards the other side. And then bring it back down. The other arm up, over the head. Good. This week we're going to try coming forward. So let's take our hands and walk them a little bit forward. If you're on the chair, you can just begin to drop your head and hang over. So let's walk our hands forward. Oh. Oh. And just go to where it feels comfortable. Take a breath and walk our hands back in. This time walk them behind us. And let's push into the hands, lift our chest towards the ceiling. And breathe out. Good. Well done. Now let's start into some more of our asanas, our postures. So remember our table. So we come to knees under hips, hands under the shoulders, and we have our nice flat dinner table. And let's take a breath there. Good. You can press your feet into the mat. Good. Now let's go from there into our cat. So remember our cat, it's like a cat stretching. So let's lift our back up, pull the belly button up towards your spine and arch the back up like a cat stretch. And then let's drop the spine down. So you're stretching the other direction and then up again. And down. And let's see if we can do that with the breath. Take a breath in. As we arch up, we breathe out. And then breathe in. As we go the other way. And then cat stretch back up, breathe out. And back down to our table. Okay, let's sit back for a minute. Give our wrists a little roll round, a little shake, a little flash. We did our flashing hands last week. Good. Okay, last week we did our balancing table. Let's do that again. So back to our table. Let's try one arm at a time and then one leg. So lift one arm and stretch it forward and place it back down. Then the other arm and place it back down. Now pick one leg and stretch the toe right behind you. And then set it back down. Go with the other leg. Stretch the toe far behind. Place it back down. Okay. If that feels like that's enough, just do that again. If you want to try hand and foot at the same time, join me now. So pick one hand and the opposite leg. So not the same hand and leg or we would fall over. So opposite leg. So hand and foot. Good. Now pick the other hand and the opposite leg. Okay. And down. Good. Let's sit back. Give our wrists a little shake again. Okay guys, let's do our Cobra pose that we've done before. So remember, go back to our table and then you can just take the knees back a little bit and then you can take one arm down, the other arm down, and then lie on our belly. Okay, now take the forearm, this part of the arm, place it down so our elbows are under our shoulders, and on the other hand, press the hands into the mat and we're going to lift our chest and look forward. Take a nice breath here. Good. And come back down. We can put our forehead onto our hands and do our breath into our belly so you can feel the belly push against the floor. Okay. Let's move our way back up. So if you find Cobra, the snake one, a little bit hard on the floor, here's how you could do it on the chair. So we can sit on the chair, hands on our legs, and then push up. So imagine these are like the hands pushing into the ground, and we push up and take the chest forward or up. And then relax. So that's how we could do Cobra on a chair. Now, remember the last few weeks we've done our child's pose. And last week we looked at two versions. We can either keep the knees together and stretch over, or we can keep the big toes together and open the knees and stretch over that way. So you choose which way you would like to stretch today. Okay. So pick which legs you would like to use, which version you would like, and let's stretch over. And remember, if your stretch over doesn't go all the way down to the floor, that's fine too. It could go to here. Maybe you bring the forearms down, or maybe it's just simply to here, and that's okay. Go with where feels comfortable for your body. Good. And remember, that's a really nice pose for if you're ever feeling like you just need a little break, you need to stretch out the body and just forget about any worries for a moment. That's a good pose to do. Great. And remember guys, our yoga poem, I am calm. So remember to think of doing all our moves as calmly as we can. So we're going to learn a new pose today. You might know this one if you've already done some yoga. It's called Downward Dog. Okay, I will show it to you first and then I'll talk you through. Okay, now let's go through it step by step together. So we come back to our table pose. Okay, make sure our hands are really spread out. Both hands are spread out flat on the mat, and I'm really pushing into the mat. Tuck your toes. So now I've tucked my toes. I can feel my toes on the mat. Now I imagine that I lift my hips and bring them towards the ceiling. I'm going to keep my knees bent. Okay, so lift the hips, keep the knees bent. And then we're really pushing the floor away with our hands. So keep the knees bent. And we just lift the hips to the ceiling. Okay. Good, come back down. So with this pose, it's important to think of a nice straight back. And what can help us get the nice straight back is making sure the knees are bent. And eventually we could go to straight legs, but for now, think of the knees being bent to help protect your back. Let's look at that again. Okay, so press into the mat, tuck the toes, press, press, press with the hands, press with the toes and lift the hips up, keep the knees bent and think about straightening the back. Okay. And as the weeks go on, or as you practice, you can begin to think about straightening the legs, but let's not worry about that today. Good. And come out. Remember, if you need to come down from the pose or rest from the pose, you can do that at any point. You don't need to wait for me to tell you. Okay. So let's shake the hands out. Good. Let's make our way up to standing. So remember, if you find the chair really useful, this is your chance to use the chair to come up to standing. Okay, so if you're using the chair, you're going to start from our table, take hold of the chair, and then come up. Okay, if you're not using a chair, we're tucking the toes and then stepping forward. And let's hang over, let the back be nice and rounded, bend the knees, and then we're going to roll up through the back. So guys, we're going to do some of our standing postures. So let's start as always with our mountain pose. So our feet are right under our hips. We think of that nice long string that pulls us up to the sky, our golden thread. Think of a nice long back, a nice long spine. Roll the shoulders back. Open the hands out so the palms face me. And let's breathe there. So every time we breathe in, imagine we get a little bit taller. And as we breathe out, feel that your feet are really pressed into the mat. Good. And relax. Give yourself a little shake. Now, keeping our feet where they were, with the feet right under the hips. Okay, so not too wide, not right beside each other, just a little bit apart. Let's do some of our standing stretches. So breathe the arms up, breathe in. Join the hands, breathe them down. And again up. And down. Good. This time we're going to reach up, join the hands. Now the hands come like a gun shape. So we join those fingers and point these ones out. But to be honest, it doesn't really matter. You could join the whole hand like that if you want. And then we're going to bend to one side. And then back up to the middle, and then go the other way. Back up to the middle, And really press into the floor with the feet. That will help balance us. And the other way. And back up. Good. Let's take our breath up. We did this at the start, so breathe the shoulders up. And then breathe out, let them drop. One more time, breathe in. Let them drop. Good. Let's take a little bit of a shoulder roll. So roll the shoulders back. Good. From here, let's go back to our chair pose. Okay, so remember, if you want the chair behind you, make sure you have the chair behind you, or if not, you can have the invisible chair. So remember, again, our feet are under our hips, so they're not too wide, they're not right beside each other, they're a little bit wider. But I'm going to face this way. Then we imagine we're sitting on that chair. And then take your hands to wherever feels comfortable for you. It could be out front, it could be a little higher, it could be right up by the ears. And then relax. That's a good one for building strength in the legs. Let's do it again. Okay. So take our breath in, breathe out, and let's sit on our invisible chair. Bring the hands wherever feels comfortable for you. And don't forget to breathe, keep breathing. And relax. Give yourself a shake out. Well done. So, we've done our warrior 2 stretch as well before, so let's check back in with that. Okay, so for this one, our legs come wider this time. Okay. Now, take one toe and turn it all the way. For me, it's the bookcase, but it's probably a wall, some sort of wall. Take the other foot, turn those toes a little bit round. Also, then bring our chest so it's back to facing me. Arms come up nice and strong. This is our warrior, so we are strong in this pose. And we look down. For me, it's the hand that faces my bookcase, so the same hand as the foot that is pointed to the bookcase also. Then I bend into that knee. So, let's look at this pose a little bit more this week. What we want to think about is that our knee is over our ankle, okay? So for me, that's a little bit too far, so I would need to wriggle my toes out so it comes under, my ankle is under the knee, okay? So it's not back like this, it's not way forward, it's under, okay? Now, check that knee and check it feels comfortable, check it's not sore. Then our arms are up and we're going to just breathe. So think of that strong warrior strength. It's a really great pose for building strength in the legs and the arms and the back. And relax. So let your arms relax. Push back out of the knee, turn the toes around and walk ourselves back in. Give yourself a shake and let's go the other side. So legs come back out. Turn the other foot. So for me, it's the foot that's pointed to the door. I turn this other leg, the back leg, in a little bit. I come back to face you guys. Lift the arms. Look down this hand I'm looking towards my door. And I bend into that knee. Now I'm going to check in with that knee. So it's gone too far over the ankle. So I either need to come back a little bit or wriggle my toes out. And now it's more over the ankle. Okay, so find that strength. take a few breaths. Again, always breathe. Don't hold your breath. Good. And relax the arms. Take the toes around, bend the knees and come back through the legs. Give yourselves a little shake out. Well done. Okay guys, let's move on to our balancing pose, our tree. So sometimes we've practiced this against the wall. Another way to practice it is with the chair. So if balance feels a little bit wobbly, we can hold on to the chair. So we've got three options: using the wall, using a chair, or not using anything. Okay, so let's think of our tree. So imagine that tall tree that reaches right up towards the sky. So think of that golden thread pulling us. This is why our mountain pose is so good. And imagine our tree roots that go down right from our feet right into the ground. So when we use our breath and think about pressing into the ground, that's what's really useful here. Okay, so pick one foot, doesn't really matter. I'm going to press into my left foot. Okay, now remember our options. So we can take the toe out and the knee out of this side. And again, you could use the chair to steady yourself here. And then just find where your arm, think of this as our branch. So find where that helps the balance. Okay, and then you might like to take the other arm. And again, if it ever feels wobbly, the chair is there. We have it against the wall, so we can do the same thing, but we've got the whole wall to play with now. Good. And then we've also got without any chair or wall. Remember last week we moved up to another version. So again, the chair might be useful here, where we take the toe and place it just above the ankle. Okay, so if you're using the chair, again, the other arm is like our branch. Play around with where helps you balance the best. And then you might take the hand off and find your balance. Again, that could be at the wall. Good. So find your version, the wall, the chair, without anything, or a little bit of it all. Let's do the other side. So we start toe on, knee out. And again, find which arm position helps you the most. Then you might like to take your chair and take the foot. So we don't want to put it on the ankle or on the knee because those are our joints and we don't want to put any pressure on the joints. So it would be on the side of the leg. Okay. And then again, you could use one hand or you could begin to take two hands off and find your balance. And the chair will always be there, or the wall. Good. If you want, you can pause the video and keep playing with that. It's a fun pose to play with. Good. Let's bring ourselves back to the mat. And again, if you would like the chair to help that, we can just bend into the knees, roll down, take the chair, and then bring ourselves down. Or we can just fold over, place the hands, make our way back down, and find yourself to a nice comfortable seated position. So well done guys with all those standing postures. We're back on the mat. Let's do a few more postures, asanas, here. So last week we looked at our stick pose. So with our stick pose, remember, we think of a nice tall back. Okay, so we can sit, get onto those sit bones, bend our knees, and think about that nice tall golden thread that takes us all the way up to the ceiling. We can put our hands either side, and this can really help lengthen the back. Okay. Now, again, it's more important to think of our back being straight than to worry about our legs being straight. So, keep the legs bent if that is what feels right for you. And if you want to try, you could begin to take one leg down and the other. But if that feels sore in the back, just bend the knees. They can even have a little bend. Okay. Now, just relax a little second. We're going to add some arms to that. Okay, so give yourself a little shake out. A little shake out. Okay, let's come back to the pose. So our bent knees, our nice tall back, press into the floor. Now let's try lifting one hand up to the ceiling and then place it back down. Now try the other hand up and down. And if you feel like it, you could try both hands and down. Good, and relax. So guys, another way to do stick pose, if that feels quite difficult to sit up, you could do it against the wall. The wall is our best friend. We can help keep the back nice and straight by sitting right up against the wall. And we can bend the knees. I can take the hands up the wall. So try that and see how it feels. It might feel a little different. Okay guys, so we're going to look at a new pose today, and it's a twist. So sit, I'll show you from the side. We're going to let ourselves sit back a little bit so we don't have to worry about sitting up like the stick pose. Let's sit back, place our hands behind us. Let me come this way though. You stay facing me. Okay, now we're going to keep the knees together and then drop them to one side, back to the middle, and then the other way. Good. And drop. Good. Now, let me come this way. From there, let's take ourselves back to our back. Okay, we're going to do our bridge pose. So give yourself a little wriggle on the mat. Place the soles of your feet flat on the mat. The knees are pointed towards the ceiling. The palms of the hand and the forearms are on the mat. Our fingertips reach towards our feet. We roll the shoulders back, press them into the mat. Press the feet into the mat, press the hands and the arms, and then we slowly lift the hips. So just do it a little bit. So lift the hips up a little and then let them roll back down through the spine. Then lift the hips a little higher and then roll it back down through the spine. And then lift them even higher if it feels okay. And see if we can hold it for a breath or two. Good. And then roll right down from the top of the spine, through the middle of the spine, and then the hips come back to the mat. Good, guys. Let's move on to our knees in. So we did this last week. We're going to bring the knees in, tuck them in, and then see if we can bring the head up. If bringing the knees straight in towards the body feels a bit awkward, you can also take the knees a little wider. Okay? Or have them together, or a little wider. You decide. Okay, so let's do that again. Come back, head on the mat, give yourself a little wriggle. We're going to bring our head up. This time when we come down, remember we stretched our arms overhead and our toes really long away, so it's like a big long line. Point the toes, reach the fingers, take a breath or two, stretch, stretch, stretch. Good. Then curl everything back in, knees to chest, and then stretch it all out. Good. One last time. In. And then this time, let yourself just come back to the mat. Find a nice comfortable position for our Shavasana, our relaxation. So remember, if lying on your back feels uncomfortable, you can always lie on your side. You could even sit up. It doesn't matter. Just find somewhere that is comfortable for you. Okay, so wherever you are, give yourself a little wriggle. Wriggle the fingers, wriggle the toes. Let's take our big breath in. And let me hear it as you sigh out. Let's do that 2 more times. Breathe in. And let me hear it as you breathe out. And again. And out. Good. Now remember, we imagine that the floor or the mat, wherever we are, is a soft cloud or pillow beneath us. And if it feels okay, you could close your eyes. Now, I want us to imagine that all around you is a very starry, beautiful sky, a nighttime sky full of stars. So I want you to imagine that some of those stars up there are dream stars. There are special stars. So I want you to reach up, pick one of these stars. Maybe it's a bright colour, your favourite colour. Pluck it out of the sky and place it on your heart. This star has something special about you in it. So think of one thing that's really special about you, something you're really good at, or maybe you're a really kind person or a thoughtful person, or maybe you're a great drawer or a great dancer, something that makes you very special, and put it on your heart. It's in that star. Okay, and let that star just sit on your heart. You can relax your arm and just think of that special thought and keep breathing. It's a really happy thought, and it's a thought that makes you feel really calm. Remember our poem, I am calm. Keep breathing and enjoy the feeling that that special thought, that happy thought, brings to you. Good. Now let's use the breath to begin to wake ourselves back up. Breathe in. And let me hear you as you breathe out. Wriggle the fingers. Wriggle the toes. Wriggle the face. Good. Maybe place our feet back on the mat, knees up towards the ceiling. Now hug our knees in again. Let them go. Roll onto your side. And then push yourself all the way up to sitting. And you can open your eyes if they've been closed. So find your comfortable seat. It could be against the wall, it could be cross-legged, it could be legs out. It doesn't matter. Good. Now let's give ourselves a little wriggle and a little shake or yawn just to wake ourselves back up. Okay, we're going to learn a stretch to help wake ourselves up. This is called our lion's stretch. So we place our hands on our knees and we push into the knees, so we straighten our arms, spread the fingers really wide, open the eyes really wide, open the mouth really wide. You're going to laugh at me. Then stick the tongue out as long as you can. And then make a lion's sound. It's called our lion's breath. So, I know you're laughing at me, but try it. Let us try it together. So we push the hands really strong into the knees, open the eyes really wide, open the mouth wide, stick the tongue out and do a big breath. Good. It's a nice one for really stretching the neck and the jaw. Okay, now let's finish with our breathing and our positive thought. Okay, so breathe up and breathe out. Hands join, breathe out and bring them down. Let's do one more of those. Breathe in, hands up, breathe out. This time the hands come to the heart. And let's take our positive thought. Go with the one that you imagined when you plucked the star out in our relaxation. So that was a thought that was something special about you. So think of that special thought, hold on to it, lock it into the heart with a breath. So breathe in and breathe it into the heart. Good. And hold that special thought, that really nice, happy feeling for the rest of the evening or the rest of the week. Good. And I will see you back here next week. Bye.